Marketability. What it comes down to is, why should somebody hire you rather than somebody else? If you're in high school, you're not quite there yet. If you're in college, you're right in the thick of it. Either way, think about it. You've probably heard a lot of times that there are plenty of amazing players, so what makes you different? First of all, the more skills you have, the better. That's obvious, but this includes and is not limited to playing in clefs. So that's tenor, alto, of course bass, treble clef, if you can read bass clef and treble clef for French horn, so that's an F. That's an added bonus, and not many trombone players can. So if you can, all of a sudden, you're above the rest of them if they need to. Similarly, if you can transpose into other keys, that's another really good skill to have that many trombone players won't have. You should have a good understanding of what it means to be a section player, or a lead player, or a soloist in both an orchestral setting and a jazz setting. Sight reading musically rather than technically. And what I mean by that is anybody can read music down and not miss notes, but if you can read music down, not miss notes, and be able to make music out of it, that's something that many people can't do. Having your own solo voice, again, both in classical and jazz, this applies. For example, if I listen to Joe Alessi, I know it's Joe Alessi, and that's a very, very good thing. You want to have a positive own voice, so keep that in mind as well. If I hear Carl Fontana, there's no doubt in my mind that it's Carl Fontana. And it's because these players have their own unique and desirable voice. Lastly, a full understanding of many different styles and genres. So this means knowing the differences between all the different Latin styles of music, knowing what it means to play Count Basie versus Thad Jones, or on the classical side, you should know how to interpret styles of Baroque music, Romantic, Classical, as well as be able to decipher some of the new music, the contemporary styles, with all the complex rhythms and extended techniques. So if you can't do all of these, that's totally cool, because most people can't do all of these. But the more you can do, the more marketable you'll be. If somehow you've mastered all of them, unfortunately that means nothing, because you must also be able to network and get yourself out there. The people playing the best gigs are there for a really good reason, and it's because they're a solid player, they're a responsible person, and they're fun to be around. When musicians are hired, there's a tier of musicians that are considered qualified. And once you're in that, they don't really think about the skill level. They think about who's going to be the most responsible person and who's going to be a fun person to be around and is going to promote the music in a positive way. If they're even thinking about you for the job, it means they're already confident in your abilities. And it means you should be too, because if you don't, then you start missing things, you start getting nervous, and there's no reason to be. What you have to be focused on is having good spirits, showing up on time, and being the best person for the job that they think you already are. Now, there are many ways to network. The best way, I think, would be to go out to a gig of a band that you really like, talk to the trombonists after, I'm sure they'll be happy people, and see if you could get a lesson with them. That way they know how you play, and you get a lesson with one of your idols. Another way is to go to summer programs for music. Now, there are many summer programs for music, but one specifically for brass that's amazing is the Atlantic Brass Quintet Seminar. So definitely check that one out if you're looking to learn what it really means to play brass music. So check out the rest of the lesson series. I'll post all of the links in the description below, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two.
Christopher Bill, he sailed the sea, and Annabelle was his daughter, but never a soul did Christopher tell, he never did like the water.